Imagine sitting at a retirement dinner for your father, surrounded by family, friends, and coworkers, only for him to humiliate you in front of everyone with a cruel joke. Most people would swallow the insult and fake a smile. But my husband? He stood up, grabbed the microphone, and exposed a secret my father had been hiding for decades. The room froze, and my dad's proud night turned into the most humiliating evening of his life. My name is Jessica. I'm 32, and I've always had a complicated relationship with my dad, Richard. Growing up, he was the tough love kind of parent. He believed teasing and criticism would make me stronger, but most of the time, it just tore me down. When I brought home good grades, he'd say, "Could have been better." When I tried out for sports, he'd laugh and say I wasn't athletic. And when I started dating my husband, Mark, he constantly mocked him for not being rich enough or ambitious enough. Still, I wanted to be supportive when his retirement dinner came around. After 40 years in his company, his coworkers threw a big celebration. My mom insisted we go, and I told myself maybe, just maybe, he'd be kind for once. The night started off well. The banquet hall was full of laughter, glasses clinking, and speeches about his long career. My mom looked proud, my dad was soaking in the attention, and for a moment I felt happy for him. Then came his speech. He stood up, cleared his throat, and began thanking people for their support. It was heartfelt at first, until he spotted me in the crowd. "And of course," he said with a grin, "my daughter Jessica is here. She never did make much of herself, but hey, at least she found a husband who tolerates her." The room erupted in awkward laughter. My cheeks burned. I felt small, humiliated, like I was 10 years old again, being teased in front of relatives. I forced a smile, but inside, I was crumbling. Mark, however, wasn't laughing. I saw the way his jaw tightened, the way his eyes narrowed. He had always defended me, but this time, he wasn't about to let it slide. After my dad finished, the host invited others to share stories. Mark stood up. "I'd like to say something," he said, taking the microphone. My heart stopped. "Mark, please," I whispered. But he squeezed my hand gently, reassuring me. He turned to the crowd. "You've all heard about Richard, the hard-working man, Richard, the dedicated employee, Richard, the family man. But since he enjoys telling jokes at his daughter's expense, maybe it's time I share something the family knows, but none of you do." The room went quiet. My dad's smile faltered. Mark continued, "Richard loves mocking Jessica for not being successful. But what he doesn't tell you is that he's been living a double life. For years, while he pretended to be the perfect husband and father, he was gambling away money behind my mother-in-law's back. Jessica and her mom bailed him out more times than I can count, keeping his reputation intact." Gasps filled the hall. My dad's face went pale. My mom buried her face in her hands. Mark wasn't done. And the best part? While Richard was bragging at work about his retirement savings, he was secretly using his wife's inheritance to cover his debts. Without her money, there wouldn't even be a retirement dinner tonight. The silence was deafening. Coworkers shifted uncomfortably. Some whispered to each other. My dad's boss looked stunned. Finally, Mark handed the microphone back. "So maybe next time, Richard, think twice before embarrassing your daughter. Because the truth has a way of embarrassing you much worse." He sat down. The room was frozen. My dad tried to laugh it off, stammering, "He's joking, of course." But no one bought it. The damage was done. The rest of the evening was painfully awkward. Guests left early. My dad's grand celebration ended in humiliation, and in the weeks that followed, the fallout was brutal. His coworkers stopped respecting him, his friends distanced themselves, and my mom, finally fed up with his lies, threatened divorce unless he came clean and changed. For once in my life, I didn't feel like the weak daughter being mocked. I felt vindicated. My husband had stood up for me, exposed the truth, and turned the tables on the man who had spent years belittling me. My dad embarrassed me at his retirement dinner, but my husband's revenge, it embarrassed him for life.